Hello everyone and welcome to this English course. In today's video, I'm going to tell you about nouns. Because in English, nouns are very important. They are the basic element of a sentence. So if you want to speak English, you need to know about the different kinds of nouns. And I'm going to try and teach you as well as I can. Let's get started. Okay, so let's start with concrete nouns. Now in English, concrete nouns are people, places, or things, including animals, that you can see, that you can smell, or taste, or hear, or touch. So you can basically use your five senses. Let me give you a few examples. If we talk about people, you could say a man, or a teacher, or me, Fanny, or Mr. Smith. If we talk about places, you could say a house, a school. You could name a city, like London, very nice city, or a beach. And if you talk about things, you could say a shoe, you could say a marker, you could talk about a dog, or food, like a pizza. These are concrete nouns, okay? Now, let's move on to abstract nouns. So, abstract nouns, unlike concrete nouns, are ideas, concepts, emotions. And you can't see an idea. You can't smell a concept, you can't taste an emotion, or hear it, or touch it. So they are nouns, they are things that exist, but you cannot see them or taste them. You can't use your five senses. To give you a few examples, we could talk about love, time, or religion, rules. These are all words that represent ideas, concepts, okay? They're abstract nouns in English. Now, let's get into more detail about nouns. Let's now see the difference between common nouns and proper nouns, which are very important in English. So, common nouns and proper nouns refer to people, places, things, ideas. Let's see a few examples. We could talk about people, for example, a woman. That's a common noun. But if we talk about a specific woman, for example, me, Fanny, that becomes a proper noun with a capital F. Because, and you should know this, proper nouns are always capitalized. You could talk about places, a city, that's a common noun. But then you can name a specific city. Let's take a great city, London, of course, with a capital L. Remember, proper nouns always capitalized. We can talk about things. For example, an animal. Let's take a dog. A dog, that's a common noun. But if we take a specific dog, like Snoopy, capital S, that's the proper noun. If we talk about things again, but for example, a car, that's a common noun. But if we name the brand, the specific brand of the car, like Volvo, that's a proper noun and it takes a capital V. And finally, we can say a team, common noun. But if we name a specific team, for example, the best football team, Manchester United, then that's a proper noun and it's capitalized. Now, mind you, team is a special word because it's called a collective noun in English because it refers to a group of people. So collective nouns can be used as singular nouns or plural nouns, but we will talk about this again later. So now that we know a lot about nouns in English, let's practice finding nouns in a sentence. First, in my class at Oxford University, I have many friends. My best friend is Jen. I have a lot of love for her. Jen has a cute dog. Its name is Juju. What are the nouns in these sentences? If we take the first sentence, in my class at Oxford University, I have many friends. We have class and friends. These are common nouns. We also have a proper noun, Oxford University. We know it's a proper noun because it's capitalized. The second sentence is, my best friend is Jen. Now in this sentence, the noun is friend, common noun. And there's also the word Jen is also a noun, but a proper noun. As you can see, it's capitalized. Then I have a lot of love for her. What noun can you see? Of course, love. Remember the abstract noun we talked about a few minutes ago. And finally, Jan has a cute dog. Its name is Juju. What nouns can we find? We can see Jan, again, proper noun, dog, common noun, but also name and Juju. Name is a common noun, Juju is the proper noun, it's capitalized. As you probably know, I haven't mentioned I or her or it. They are also nouns, but they are pronouns, and they're considered a different category in English. We will talk about them in another video. Great job, guys! Thank you for watching my video. I hope you now have a better understanding of nouns in English. Please keep practicing. Practice makes perfect. I'm sure you will very soon be able to recognize nouns in a sentence. Please make sure to watch my next video as I keep on talking about nouns. See you! Thank you for watching my video, guys. If you've liked this video, please click like, subscribe to our channel, show us your support, put your comments below and share this video. Thank you. Hello guys, and welcome to this English course on nouns. In today's video, we're going to talk about singular and plural nouns. When you speak English, it is very important to know the difference between a singular noun and a plural noun. Okay, so I will explain to you the different rules and we will practice together. Let's get started. Okay guys, the first thing you need to know is that a singular noun means one. So, for example, I can say cat, a cat or one cat. School, a school, one school. Team. Now don't forget, team is a collective noun. It's a group of people, but still, it is a singular noun. We talk about a team or one team. Lady, monkey, tomato, a tomato, one tomato, or piano. Now, if we talk about plural nouns, it means more than one. So, for example, 2, 3, 4, or many. If we take our words again, a cat becomes cats. 2 cats, 3 cats, many cats. School becomes schools. Team becomes teams. Okay, so you just add an S. Now, lady becomes ladies. Monkey becomes monkeys. But 2 different rules. As you can see, lady is consonant Y. Now, when you have consonant Y in an English word, the plural will be I E-S. Lady, ladies. But when you have vowel Y, like monkey, it just becomes monkeys. You simply add an S. Okay, monkey becomes monkeys. Tomato becomes tomatoes. Piano, pianos. Again, two different rules. Now, tomato becomes tomatoes. You add ES. And with most words ending in O, so consonant O, you will add ES. But sometimes you will only add S, like piano, pianos. There is no particular rule for this. You just need to know the words that only end with an S. We have three different sounds. The first sound is S. The second sound is Z. And the third sound is is. So let's review some words together and be really careful. What sound do you hear? Cats. Cats. What can you hear? S. Can you repeat after me? Cats. Cats. The second word is schools. Schools. What sound can you hear? Of course, Z. Repeat after me. Schools. Schools. The third word is teams. What sound can you hear? Again, Z. Repeat after me. Teams. Teams. Then we have ladies. Ladies. Z. Repeat after me. Ladies. Ladies. Then monkeys. Z. Again. Repeat after me. Monkeys. Monkeys. Then we have tomatoes. Again, it's the Z sound. Tomatoes. Tomatoes. And finally, pianos. Z. Pianos. Pianos. Let's move on to other rules now. Okay guys, let's now talk about nouns that end in S, SH, X, CH, or Z. Now to make the plural form of these nouns, you will add ES, and the sound will be is. Let's review some words together. Bus becomes buses. Bush, bushes. Fox, foxes. Beach, beaches. Quiz, quizzes. Can you repeat after me? Buses. Buses. Bushes. Bushes. Foxes. Foxes. Beaches. Beaches. Quizzes. Quizzes. Let's move on. Okay guys, moving on to nouns ending in F, F-E. For example, roof becomes roofs. Safe, safes. So you simply add an S. Then we have leaf that becomes leaves. Wait a minute, what happened? Well, yeah, sometimes in English, a word ending in F becomes a word ending in VES in plural. That's not a rule, but some words end in VES, you just have to learn them, I'm afraid. Another word, wife, and again, VES wives. Shelf, shelves, again, this V-E-S ending. Can you repeat after me? Roofs, roofs. Good job. Safes, safes. Have you heard the S sound? Safes. Then we have leaves, and this time it's a Z sound. Repeat after me. Leaves, leaves. Great. Moving on. Wives, wives. And finally, shelves, shelves. Great job, guys. Let's move on to practice now. Well, students, let's now practice together. I'm going to give you a singular noun, and I want you to try and find the plural form of this singular noun. Okay? Let's give it a try. The first word is baby. Baby. Don't forget, it ends with consonant Y. Do you remember the rule? It's babies with I-E-S. Very nice. Baby, babies. The second word is toy. Vowel Y. So this time, toys, you simply add an S. Then we have wish. Wish is a word that ends in SH. Remember the rule. Wishes, you add ES. Taxi becomes taxis. You simply add an S. Choice, choices. Simply add an S as well. Then we have the word wolf. It's a word ending in F. Is it a word with VES? It is. Wolves. And finally, photo. Now remember the words ending in O? You can add ES or simply S. Well, with photo, you simply add an S. Photos. Repeat the words after me. Babies. The sound is Z. Babies. Toys. Toys. Wishes. Remember this is sound? Repeat after me. Wishes. Taxis. Taxis. Choices. Choices. Wolves. Wolves. And finally, photos. Photos. Excellent job, guys. Now let's move on to some example sentences. I have some example sentences for you guys using singular and plural nouns. I'd like you to repeat the sentences after me and be really careful to use proper pronunciation. Let's get started. The first sentence is, I want a dog. I like dogs. Repeat after me, guys. I want a dog. I like dogs. The second sentence, I don't want a fox. I don't like foxes. After me, guys. I don't want a fox. I don't like foxes. Great! Moving on to the third sentence. I bought a watch. I have many watches. Repeat after me. I bought a watch. I have many watches. Good job! Sentence 4 now. I have a new stereo. Now I have 2 stereos. After me. I have a new stereo. Now I have 2 stereos. Excellent! And finally, there's a knife. There are 6 knives in the kitchen. Repeat after me. There's a knife. There are 6 knives in the kitchen. Amazing job, guys! Very nice! I hope this has helped. I hope you now understand better singular and plural nouns in English. Now, I haven't talked about all the pronunciation rules, but I hope you have a good sense now of how to pronounce plural forms. Make sure you watch my next video if you want to know more about nouns in English. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Thank you for watching my video, guys. If you've liked this video, please show me your support. Click like, subscribe to the channel, put your comments below and share the video. See you! Hello guys! Welcome to this English course on nouns. In today's video, I'm going to tell you about irregular plural nouns. Now, there are crazy ways of making plural forms in English, and there are a lot of irregular forms. I want you to know about them. So let's get started. Again, guys, there are so many irregular plural forms in English, and I'm afraid there are no particular rules. You just need to learn the words. But I'm going to try and tell you about the most common words, okay? Let's review some words together. Okay, so for example, we have a singular noun, which is woman. Its plural form is women. Woman, women. Then we have man, the singular noun, a man. It becomes men. A child becomes children. A tooth, teeth. A foot becomes feet. A person becomes people. A mouse becomes mice. Okay, let's move on to pronunciation now. Please repeat after me. Woman, woman. Women, women. Good. Man, man. Men, men. Child, child. Children, children. Very good, guys. Moving on. Tooth, tooth. Teeth, teeth. Foot, foot. Feet, feet. Person, person. people, people. Very good, guys. And the last one, mouse, mouse, mice, mice. Excellent, guys. Let's now move on to other irregular plural forms. Now, there are words that have the exact same singular and plural forms. They are not common, but you need to know a few. Let's take a look together. As you can see, sheep is the singular form, but the plural form is not sheeps. It is sheep. Same goes for deer, deer. Moose, moose. Fish, fish. Aircraft, aircraft. Okay, so you will say, I see one sheep, but also I see two sheep. The exact same word. I want you to repeat after me. Sheep, sheep. Deer, deer. Moose, moose. Fish, fish. Aircraft, aircraft. Good job, guys. Let's move on now to other irregular forms. Some nouns are never singular. We always use their plural forms. I have a few common ones for you guys. Let's have a look. Jeans, pants, glasses, sunglasses, clothes, scissors, pajamas. So you will say, I have some jeans, or I have scissors, but you cannot say, I have a jean. It is incorrect in English. Repeat after me, please. Jeans, jeans. Pants, pants. Glasses, glasses. Sunglasses, sunglasses. Clothes, clothes. Scissors, scissors. And finally, pajamas, pajamas. Good, guys. Let's now look at other irregular plural forms. Now, just a few words about nouns in English that have Latin and Greek origins. Their plural forms are very weird. Now, it's a bit complicated, so we're not going to go into too much detail. Don't worry too much about them, but just a few words that I think you should know. First, we have words ending in A. Their plural form will end in AE. For example, antenna becomes antennae. Alumna, alumni. Words ending in US, us, will end in I. Octopus, octopi. Cactus, cacti. Words ending in IS will end in ES. Is becomes ease. For example, analysis, analyses. Diagnosis, diagnoses. And finally, words ending in ON end in A. Criterion, criteria. Phenomenon, phenomena. These plural forms are very difficult, guys. Even native speakers make a lot of mistakes. So don't worry too much about them. I just wanted to give you a little taste of Latin and Greek plurals. Okay, let's move on to example sentences now. Okay, guys, I have a few example sentences for you. It's a great opportunity to practice saying irregular plural forms in English. Now, be very careful to use proper pronunciation as well. Let's start. First, my sister has one child. My brother has 2 children. Repeat after me. My sister has 1 child. My brother has 2 children. Next, I'm a quiet person, so I don't talk to many people. Please repeat after me. I'm a quiet person, so I don't talk to many people. Good, guys. Next sentence. Did you catch 1 fish or 2 fish at the lake? Repeat after me, please. Did you catch 1 fish or 2 fish at the lake? Very good. Next sentence. I have 1 pair of glasses and 2 pairs of sunglasses. Repeat after me. I have 1 pair of glasses and 2 pairs of sunglasses. Excellent, guys. And finally, he has 1 cactus in his front yard, but many cacti in his backyard. Repeat after me. He has 1 cactus in his front yard, but many cacti in his backyard. I hope you now have a better understanding of irregular plural forms in English. There are many of them, not many rules to follow, a lot of words to memorize, but I'm sure with a little bit of practice, you can do it. Thank you for watching my video. Make sure you watch the other videos as well. Thank you. Thank you guys for watching my video. If you've liked this video, please show me your support. Click like, subscribe to our channel, put your comments below and share the video. Thank you very much. See you. Hello guys, welcome back to this English course on nouns. In today's video, I'm going to tell you about compound nouns. They are very common in English and there are thousands of them. You need to know about them. Let's get started. A compound noun is made up of 2 different words. So you take 2 words, you put them together to create a new noun. They're usually quite easy to understand. For example, full moon. Full is obviously the adjective describing the moon. Let's take a look at other examples and how to create compound nouns. Sometimes compound nouns are a single noun, like toothpaste. Sometimes there are 2 or more words hyphenated, such as mother-in-law. And sometimes there are 2 separate words, like ice cream. Now, you have to be careful. Sometimes you have a simple adjective plus a noun, like a greenhouse, but you also have a compound noun which has a different meaning, a greenhouse. Now, a greenhouse is a house which is green. But the compound noun, a greenhouse, is a place where you grow plants. Completely different meaning. Okay, so you have to be careful. Stresses can help. Usually the stress is on the first syllable in compound nouns. Okay, I hope you get it, guys. Let's take a closer look now at compound nouns. Okay, let's now take a look at the parts of speech that make up a compound noun. We can have a noun and another noun, like bedroom. We can also have a noun and a verb, like haircut. A noun and a preposition, like passerby. A verb and a noun, like washing machine. A verb and a preposition, like drawback. A preposition and a noun, like underground. An adjective and a verb, like dry cleaning. An adjective and a noun, like software. Or a preposition and a verb, like input. As you can see, guys, there are so many ways to create compound nouns with different words. Now let's get back to our examples for pronunciation. Please repeat after me. Bedroom. Bedroom. Haircut. Haircut. Passerby. Passerby. Washing machine. Washing machine. Drawback. Drawback. Underground. Underground. Dry cleaning. Dry cleaning. Software. Software. Input. Input. Good job, guys. Let's now move on to plural compound nouns. So when we want to make compound nouns plural, there are rules to follow. If you have a single word, you simply add an S. But if you have separate words, whether hyphenated or not, you will make the most significant word plural. Let's take a look at examples. Newspaper will simply be newspapers. So I have many newspapers. Swimming pool. Now, what's the most significant word? Well, it is pool. So we will say there are 2 swimming pools. You cannot say there are 2 swimmings pools. No S, but swimming. Brother-in-law, what's the most significant word? Well, of course, it is brother. So you will say, I have 2 brothers-in-law. And finally, woman doctor. Now, what's the most significant word? Actually, both words are significant. So we will both make them plural. Remember, the plural form of woman is women. So we will say 4 women doctors work at the hospital. Can you repeat after me, please? I have many newspapers. I have many newspapers. There are 2 swimming pools. There are 2 swimming pools. I have 2 brothers-in-law. I have 2 brothers-in-law. And finally, 4 women doctors work at the hospital. 4 women doctors work at the hospital. Good job, guys! Now let's move on to practice. To practice, I have a few sentences, and I want you to tell me if we are using compound nouns or not. Let's take a look. I want to drink some cold water. Is cold water a compound noun? What do you think? It isn't. Cold is a simple adjective describing the water. She has a new boyfriend. Is boyfriend a compound noun? Well, it isn't in this case. He's your friend and he's a boy. But the compound noun boyfriend in one word exists and has a different meaning. Then your boyfriend is more than a friend. He's the boy you're having a relationship with. Other example. The bluebird was singing in the tree. Is bluebird a compound noun? Not in this case. It's a simple bird and it's blue. But the compound noun bluebird in one word exists. It's a specific bird. Let's meet at the bus stop. Is bus stop a compound noun? What do you think? It is. And finally, I have 2 alarms clock. What about alarms clock? Well, it is a compound noun, but there is a big mistake. Can you see it? Of course, the plural form. The plural form is not alarms clock, but alarm clocks, because the most significant word is clock. Okay, guys, let's move on. Thank you for watching. I hope you better understand compound nouns and how to create them. There are so many compound nouns in the English language, but they are usually very easy to understand. And if you're not sure, look it up in a dictionary. The dictionary will tell you if it's a compound noun or not. Thank you for watching, guys, and see you in the next videos. Thank you for watching my video, guys. If you've liked it, please show me your support. Click like, subscribe to our channel, put your comments below and share the video. See you! Hello guys! Welcome back to this English course on nouns. In this video, I'm going to tell you about countable and uncountable nouns. It's very important to know the difference between countable and uncountable nouns in English, and students often get confused. So please listen to me very carefully. Let's get started. Countable nouns are nouns that you can count. Uncountable nouns are nouns that you cannot count. They're usually a type or a group, and they're always singular. Let's look at a few examples. Countable nouns, you can say a dog. You can say 1 dog, 2 dogs, 3 dogs, and so on. Man, you can say a man, 2 men. Idea, you can say 1 idea, 2 ideas, and so on. Computer, again, you can say 1 computer, 2 computers. And house, well, you can say 1 house, 2 houses, 3 houses, and so on. These are countable nouns, you can count them. But if we look at uncountable nouns, when you say water, you can't say 1 water, 2 waters. It doesn't make any sense. You cannot count water. Same goes for air. You can't say one air, two airs. It's just air. It's uncountable. Traffic, English, equipment, these are all uncountable nouns. You cannot count them and they're always singular. Okay, guys, now let's take a closer look at rules with countable nouns and uncountable nouns. So how do we know if a word is countable or uncountable? Well, there are a few tricks that can help. Let's look at these words. Some groups of words are very often uncountable, and this can help you. For example, liquids. Water, juice, milk, beer. All those words are uncountable. Powders. Sugar, flour, salt, rice. Uncountable words as well. Materials such as wood, plastic, metal, or paper. Food as well, like fruit, meat, cheese, and bread. And finally, abstract ideas like time, information, love, and beauty. Another trick is that most of the time you can measure uncountable nouns. Let's look at examples. For example, if we take liquids, I have 2 liters of milk. Now, you cannot count milk, but you can measure milk and you can count liters. So you can say, I have 2 liters of milk. You can say, I have a glass of water, or I have glasses of water, cups of coffee, bottles of water. So you can measure this uncountable noun. Same goes with powders. I have 1 kilogram of sugar, 2 kilograms of sugar. With materials and foods, we often use the word piece. For example, I ate 2 pieces of cake, or bread, or pizza, or meat or cheese. I need pieces of paper, wood, plastic, metal. Or I have some water. Some is an article that always works with uncountable nouns. Okay, guys, I hope you understand. Let's move on. Some words can be both countable and uncountable nouns. Now, not all of them, but some of them. Let's take a look. I would like to eat some cake. I would like 2 pieces of cake. So in these 2 sentences, cake is obviously an uncountable noun. But if I say I would like to eat 2 cakes, suddenly it becomes a countable noun. Why? Because in the first 2 sentences, we are talking about pieces of 1 cake. In the last sentence, we are considering the whole cake, so it becomes countable. Another example, I would like to eat some chicken. I would like to eat a piece of chicken. Both sentences, uncountable noun, chicken. But the last sentence, I see 2 chickens. Chicken, in this case, is a countable noun. Why? Because in the first 2 sentences, chicken is food. But in the last sentence, chicken is an animal. So the animal is a countable noun. Chicken is food is uncountable. Hope you get it. Let's move on to example sentences now. Let's now review a few example sentences so you can practice using countable and uncountable nouns. First sentence, guys. I put 100 candles on 6 cakes. Please repeat after me. I put 100 candles on 6 cakes. I put 100 candles on 6 cakes. Good job. Second example. I ate 2 pieces of cake. Repeat after me. I ate 2 pieces of cake. I ate 2 pieces of cake. Next sentence. I saw some trash on all the streets. Repeat after me. I saw some trash on all the streets. I saw some trash on all the streets. Very good. Next one. I need to buy some milk and some butter from the market. Please repeat after me. I need to buy some milk and some butter from the market. I need to buy some milk and some butter from the market. And finally, traffic and pollution are problems in many cities. Repeat after me. Traffic and pollution are problems in many cities. Traffic and pollution are problems in many cities. Good job, guys! Thank you for watching this video. I hope you now have a better understanding of countable and uncountable nouns. I know it's hard, but don't worry, keep practicing. Practice makes perfect. Thank you for watching my video, and please watch the rest of the videos. Thank you guys for watching my video. If you've liked it, please show me your support by clicking like, by subscribing to the channel, by putting your comments below and sharing this video. Thank you very much and see you! Hello guys, and welcome to this English course on adjectives. In today's video, I'm gonna tell you everything there is to know about adjectives and what they are exactly. Best way to describe an adjective in English is to say that it's a word that describes or clarifies a noun. It gives you information on people, things, ideas, nouns or pronouns. It is very important to understand what adjectives are and to know how to use them, because they are essential when you speak English. Let's get started. Adjectives give us so much information about nouns. Let's, for example, take a common noun, cup, and see how many ways there are in English to describe a cup using different kinds of adjectives. Let's see. We can say, it's a great cup. You just give your opinion. It's a big cup, talking about the size of the cup. If you want to talk about the shape of the cup, you could say, it's a round cup. It's an old cup, if you want to talk about age. Or if you want to say what color it is, it's a white cup. Or talking about temperature, it's a cold cup. It's a broken cup if you make observations. It's a Korean cup, talking about origins. Or you can mention the material, it's a plastic cup. Or it's a coffee cup, talking about the purpose of the cup. Now, coffee, as you know, is a noun. But in this case, it can be used as an adjective. All these adjectives are placed before the noun. Let's learn more about adjectives. Adjectives can be found before the noun. It's called the attribute position, or after the noun, which is called the predicative position, and is just as common. Adjectives which are found after a verb describe the subject of this verb, usually a noun or a pronoun. So if we take the sentence, "The girl is nice," the adjective nice refers to the subject of the sentence, the girl, but it is placed after the verb to be. My students are happy, same thing. The adjective happy describes the subject of the sentence, my students, but it is placed after the verb. I hope you understand, guys. Let's move on to practice now. Let's now practice finding adjectives in a few sentences. I'm a tall woman. Can you see the adjective in this sentence? I hope you can. The adjective is tall. It gives you the height of the woman. I'm a British woman. Now, where is the adjective? The adjective is British. Gives you the origins of this woman. I have blonde hair. Now, what's the adjective in this sentence? Of course, guys, it is blonde. It gives you the color of the hair. My eyes are blue. Now, that's a different sentence. Can you spot the adjective? The adjective is blue. What's blue? My eyes. My eyes is the subject of the sentence, and the adjective is blue. I'm nice. Again, can you spot the adjective? It's nice. Okay? And finally, the weather is cold. What's the adjective? Where is it? Can you see it? The adjective is cold. What's cold? The weather. The weather is the subject, and the adjective is cold. Now, in the first three sentences, it's the attribute position. Remember, the adjective comes before the noun. And in the last three sentences, it's the predicative position. Remember, the adjective comes after the noun, and in this case, after the verb to be. I hope you understand this. Good job. Let's get started. I'm a tall woman. Can you repeat after me? Twice. First, I'm a tall woman. I'm a tall woman. Very good. Moving on. I'm a British woman. Repeat after me. I'm a British woman. I'm a British woman. Good. Third sentence. I have blonde hair. So repeat after me, please. I have blonde hair. I have blonde hair. Very good. My eyes are blue. Repeat after me. My eyes are blue. My eyes are blue. Next one. I'm nice. Repeat after me. I'm nice. I'm nice. Good job. And finally, the weather is cold. Please repeat. The weather is cold. The weather is cold. Excellent job, guys! Okay guys, thank you for watching this video. I hope you now understand what adjectives are and how to use them in English. Please make sure to watch my next video as I continue talking about adjectives. Thank you guys for watching my video. If you like it, please show us your support. Click on like, subscribe to our channel, comment below and share the video. Thank you. See you. Hello guys, welcome to this English course on adjectives. In today's video, I'm going to talk about prefixes and suffixes that are commonly added to adjectives in English. A prefix is a few letters added to the beginning of a word to change the meaning of that word. And a suffix is a few letters added to the end of the word to change the meaning. We'll get more into detail. Let's get started. Let's take a look at a few adjectives with prefixes. Again, a prefix is a few letters added to the beginning of the adjective, mostly to make it negative. Let's take a look at a few examples. First, we have the prefix un, un. For example, if we take the word fair and we want to make it negative, we can add un to have the word unfair, which is the opposite of fair. Same goes for happy, unhappy. Sure becomes unsure. Another prefix is in, to make the adjective negative again. For example, active, inactive, appropriate, inappropriate, complete, incomplete. The prefix ir now, ir. For example, responsible, irresponsible, regular, irregular, rational, irrational. Then we have the prefix im, for example, balance, imbalance, polite, impolite, possible, impossible. And finally, the prefix il, like legal, illegal, literate, illiterate, logical, illogical. These are just a few examples, guys. There are so many other prefixes in English, but I hope you now have a better understanding. Let's move on. Let's now talk about suffixes. In English, you can add a few letters to a noun or a verb to make it into an adjective. Not necessarily a negative adjective, it's not like prefixes. But there are so many suffixes in English, but here is a list of very common ones. We can find a suffix able, like adorable, comfortable. Also the suffix en, like broken, golden. Ease, like Chinese, Japanese. Full, like wonderful, powerful. Like informative, talkative. Us, dangerous, enormous. Or some, like awesome, handsome. Again, these are just a few examples. There are so many suffixes, but I hope you now have a good idea of how to use suffixes in English. Let's now move on to practice. Okay guys, let's practice finding adjectives in the following sentences and prefixes or suffixes? Let's have a look. I have an uncomfortable seat. Now, can you spot the adjective first? Of course, the adjective here is uncomfortable. Can you see any prefix or suffix? I do. There is a prefix, which is un, and there is a suffix as well, the suffix able. Okay, so look at how we transformed the word. The first word was comfort in English. First, we added a suffix to make it into an adjective, which is comfortable. And then we added a prefix, un, to make it negative. So the seat is not comfortable, it is uncomfortable. That's how prefixes and suffixes can be used in English. The second sentence, she has a black car. Can you spot the adjective first? Of course, it's the adjective black. Is there a suffix or a prefix? No, there isn't. Next sentence, his father was unhelpful. What's the adjective? Unhelpful, of course. Any prefix, suffix? Yes, there is a prefix, again, which is un, to make the adjective negative, and there is a suffix, ful, to make the noun help into an adjective. Unhelpful. Next sentence, the actor is handsome. The adjective, of course, is handsome. Is there a prefix? No, there isn't. Is there a suffix? Of course, some. Handsome. I hate oily food. The adjective is oily, of course. Is there a prefix? There isn't. Is there a suffix? Of course. The y is a suffix. You have the word, the noun oil, and to make it into an adjective, you add the suffix y. And finally, she is a dishonest woman. The adjective is dishonest, of course. Do you have a prefix? We do, yes. We have the prefix dis. So this woman is not honest, she is dishonest. Okay, so that's how, with prefixes and suffixes, we can really transform words in English. It's wonderful, isn't it? There are thousands of prefixes and suffixes. Again, these are just a few examples, but I hope you now understand how it works in English and how you can really transform and play with the different words and kinds of words. Repeat after me, please. I have an uncomfortable seat. I have an uncomfortable seat. Good job. Second sentence. She has a black car. She has a black car. Good. Keep repeating. His father was unhelpful. His father was unhelpful. The actor is handsome. The actor is handsome. Good. Moving on. I hate oily food. I hate oily food. And finally, she is a dishonest woman. She is a dishonest woman. Excellent, guys. Okay guys, thank you for watching this video. I hope this helped you understand a bit more about prefixes and suffixes in English. Keep practicing. It takes practice to get better at identifying prefixes and suffixes, but I'm sure you can do it. Make sure you watch the next video as I continue talking about adjectives in English. Thank you. Thank you guys for watching my video. I hope this helped you. If you liked the video, please show me your support. Click like, subscribe to the channel, put your comments below if you have some, and share it with your friends. See you! Hello guys, and welcome to this English course on adjectives. In this video, I will be talking to you about adjectives ending in ed or ing. These adjectives are very common in English and they often confuse students and learners in general. So please be really careful, listen very carefully, repeat after me, try and understand the difference. Let's get started. Adjectives ending in ed describe a person's feeling. For example, bored. I am bored. Adjectives ending in ing describe a situation or an event. For example, boring. Let's take a sentence. This film is boring. Okay, that's the event. It's boring. And because the film is boring, I am bored. That's my feeling. I hope you get it. Let's get a few more common examples. For example, annoyed and annoying. He is annoyed. That's a feeling. The noise is annoying. You're now describing the noise. Other example, confused, confusing. The student was confused. The English was confusing. Depressed, depressing. My mom was depressed. She watched a depressing TV drama. Excited, exciting. I'm excited. Traveling is exciting. Frustrated, frustrating. My dog is frustrated. Staying home all day is frustrating. Frightened, frightening. My little sister is frightened of the dark. A dark room is frightening. Satisfied, satisfying. My dad is satisfied. He has a satisfying job. Shocked, shocking. We were shocked by the accident. It was a shocking accident. Interested, interesting. I'm interested in articles. I'm reading an interesting article. Last example, two sentences, two different meanings. Look at these. The teacher was bored. The teacher was boring. Now, you really have to understand the difference between those two because the meaning is not the same at all. When you say the teacher was bored, you are describing the teacher's feeling. Okay, that's how the teacher felt at that time he or she was bored. But when you say the teacher was boring, you are describing the teacher. Okay, the teacher made the students feel bored because he or she was boring. Okay, so remember, ed is for feelings and ing is to describe events, things, situations. Okay, let's move on to practice now. I now have a few example sentences for you. Let's have a look together. Wow! I am excited or exciting about my new car. Now, what's the correct answer? What do you think? Now remember, ed to talk about feelings, ing to describe things. In this case, are you talking about your feelings or are you describing your new car? Of course, you are talking about your feelings. So, wow, I'm excited about my new car. Second example, try not to get bored or boring when you study English. Now, what do you think? Are you talking about feelings or are you describing things? Of course, again, we're talking about feelings in this sentence. Try not to get bored when you study English. Then math is confused or confusing to me. Do you know the answer? You are describing math to you. It is confusing to you, so math is confusing to me. It was a thrilled or thrilling roller coaster ride. Now in this case, if you think for a minute, can a roller coaster ride feel anything? No, it can't. So it's obviously a description. It was a thrilling roller coaster ride. And finally, my mother is disappointed or disappointing in my English school. Of course, you are talking about your mother's feeling. She is disappointed in your English school. Very well, guys. I hope you did well and I hope you understand the difference between ed adjectives and ing adjectives. Now, listen very carefully and repeat after me, please. Wow! I am excited about my new car. Wow! I'm excited about my new car. Good. Try not to get bored when you study English. Try not to get bored when you study English. Good, guys. Third sentence. Math is confusing to me. Math is confusing to me. Very good. It was a thrilling roller coaster ride. It was a thrilling roller coaster ride. Very nice. And finally, my mother is disappointed in my English school. One last time. My mother is disappointed in my English school. Very good job, guys. Okay, students, thank you for watching. I hope you understood the difference between adjectives ending in ed and ing. They are very important as they will allow you to describe how you feel and to describe things and events and situations. Please keep practicing, as this is still a common mistake among students, so the more you practice, the better you'll get. Thank you very much. Thank you guys for watching my video. I hope you've liked it, and if you have, please show me your support. Click like, subscribe to our channel, put your comments below and share the video with your friends. Thank you and see you! Hello guys, and welcome to this English course on adjectives. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about adjective order in a sentence using more than one adjective to modify a noun. Now, this is a very important topic because if you use more than one adjective to modify a noun, you have to follow a specific order. So you need to keep watching. Let's get started. Let's take a look at this adjective order. It looks like a lot at first, but you will learn very fast and practice will help. Let's have a look together. First, we will use the adjectives describing quality or giving your opinion, like delicious, beautiful, or good. Then we will talk about size. Adjectives like tall, short, big. Then comes age, like old, young, new, 20-year-old. Then comes shape, adjectives like round or square. Then color, red, green, blue. Origin, like Korean, Mexican, or American. Material, like glass, gold, or wooden. And finally, purpose adjectives like sport or coffee. Remember my cup from the first video? Well, we could say it's a great, big, old, round, white, Korean plastic cup. So a great, giving my opinion, big, the size, old, the age, round, for the shape, white, the color, Korean for the origins, plastic for the material. That's the adjective order. I cannot break it. I have to follow it. Don't worry, guys. Most of the time, you will only use one, maybe 2 or 3 adjectives in one sentence. But still, you have to follow this order. Let's now look together at a few sentences with multiple adjectives. For example, these beautiful young girls went to school. First, how many adjectives do you see in that sentence? I see 2 adjectives, beautiful and young. The order is beautiful, your opinion, and then young for age. Second example, I have dirty old running shoes. How many adjectives can you see? There are 3. Dirty, your opinion, old, the age, and running, which is a purpose adjective. Then we have that's a hot green Korean pepper. How many adjectives? There are 3 adjectives. Hot, your opinion, green, the color, Korean, the origins. And finally, Canada is a nice large country. 2 adjectives, nice for your opinion and large for the size. Please repeat after me. These beautiful young girls went to school. These beautiful young girls went to school. I have dirty old running shoes. I have dirty old running shoes. Good. That's a hot green Korean pepper. That's a hot green Korean pepper. Very nice. And finally, Canada is a nice large country. Canada is a nice large country. Good job, guys. Let's now move on to more practice. Okay, guys, you are experts now. Time to move on to some extra practice. I have sentences for you. Some of them are correct, some of them are not, and it's up to you to tell me. Let's have a look. She is a tall British woman. Now, how many adjectives can you see in this sentence? I see 2 adjectives. And is the order correct? Tall is the size, British, the origins. So it is correct, yes, size comes before origins. She is a tall British woman. I have a red big ball. How many adjectives? 2. And is the order correct? Red is the color and big is the size. Well, no, it isn't. It should be I have a big red ball. Size comes before color. I got a gold new watch. Again, I suppose you know, 2 adjectives. Gold for the material and new for the age. And age comes before material, so it should be I got a new gold watch. My mother has red long hair. We have 2 adjectives. Red for the color and long for the size. And size comes before color, so it should be my mother has long red hair. And finally, this is a cute little white puppy. 3 adjectives. Is the order correct? What do you think? Well, it is correct. We have cute for your opinion, little for the size, white for the color, and the order is correct. This is a cute little white puppy. Okay guys, thank you for watching this video. I hope this helped you understand adjective order. This is not that difficult. My students learn this order very quickly and I'm sure you will too. That's it for this video. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Thanks guys for watching my video. If you've liked it, please show us your support by clicking like, subscribing to the channel, putting your comments below and sharing it with all your friends. See you! Hello students and welcome back to my English course on adjectives. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about intensifiers and mitigators. Now, what are those? Don't be scared off by their names. Intensifiers are simply words that will make adjectives stronger. They will give adjectives more power, more emphasis. For example, 2 very common intensifiers in English are really and very. Mitigators, on the other hand, make the adjectives weaker, like the words rather or fairly. But we're going to go into a little more detail. Keep watching. Let's start with intensifiers, and I have a list of intensifiers for you. Of course, these are not all of them, but it's a good start because they're very common in English. Let's have a look. Really. This video is really interesting. The adjective in this sentence is interesting, and we make it stronger with the intensifier really. It's really interesting. Very. For example, I'm very happy to learn English. The adjective is happy, and we give it more power with the intensifier very. I am very happy to learn English. Other intensifiers include absolutely. For example, your new dress is absolutely amazing. Extremely, like it's extremely cold outside. Incredibly. For example, your son is incredibly smart. Completely. My wallet is completely empty. Unusually. The classroom was unusually quiet. And finally, enough. He isn't old enough to drive. Now, for this last sentence, the adjective is old and the intensifier is enough. It's a special case because, as you can hear and see, enough always comes after the adjective. Intensifiers are commonly used with comparative and superlative adjectives. For example, with comparative adjectives, we often use much. For example, he runs much faster than me. Faster is the comparative form of the adjective fast, and to intensify the comparison, we use the intensifier much. So he runs much faster than me. We also use a lot. For example, this red bag is a lot heavier than this white bag. Heavier is the comparative form of the adjective heavy, and we make it even more powerful with a lot heavier. And we also use far. For example, she is far taller than me. Taller is the comparative of tall. We make it more powerful with far, far taller than me. Now with superlative adjectives, we can use easily. For example, this is easily the best restaurant in town. Best is the superlative form of the adjective good, and we make it even more powerful by saying easily the best restaurant. And we also use by far. For example, Sarah is by far the smartest girl in class. Let's move on to mitigators now. Mitigators are the opposite of intensifiers. They weaken the adjectives. Let's look at a few examples. Mitigators include fairly. For example, it's fairly sunny today. The adjective sunny is weakened by the mitigator fairly. So it's not sunny, it's a bit less than sunny. Other mitigator, rather. So when I say I'm rather tired, I'm not exactly tired. I'm a bit less. The adjective is less powerful because of this rather. Other example, pretty. It's pretty expensive, which means it's not expensive, it's a little bit less. Or quite, like the movie was quite good. The adjective good is less powerful because of this quite. Now, be very careful, because if you use quite with an extreme adjective, such as terrible, perfect, enormous, or excellent, quite means absolutely. It becomes an intensifier. For example, she is quite gorgeous. Means she is absolutely gorgeous. It's more powerful because of the intensifier quite. So be very careful when you use quite, because depending on the adjective that you choose, it has a different meaning and it can be either an intensifier or a mitigator. Let's move on. Just as intensifiers, mitigators can be used with comparative adjectives. Let's look at a few examples. We can use a bit. For example, he's a bit faster than me. When you say he's a bit faster than me, it's less powerful than he's faster than me. So a bit mitigates, it weakens faster. Same goes for rather. For example, this dress is rather nicer than that dress. It weakens the comparison, the nicer. And finally, we can say slightly. For example, my car is slightly older than your car. So it's just a little bit older than your car. It's weak because of this mitigator. Let's now move on to practice. I want things to be very clear. So I have a few example sentences for you guys, and I want you to tell me if you see an intensifier or a mitigator. Let's have a look. First, it's a very interesting game. Now, what's the adjective in that sentence? Interesting, of course. What about very? Is it an intensifier or a mitigator? What do you think? It's an intensifier, of course. It's a very interesting game. It's more powerful thanks to this very. The second sentence, she cooks fairly good pasta. Now, the adjective in this sentence is good, I'm sure you know. What about fairly? Is it an intensifier or a mitigator? It's a mitigator, guys. The adjective good is less powerful because of fairly. She cooks fairly good pasta. The third example, he's quite brilliant at speaking English. The adjective is brilliant. Now, just a hint, it's an extreme adjective. Brilliant is a very strong adjective. So what about quite? Is it an intensifier or a mitigator? It is an intensifier, of course, because the adjective is extreme. I hope you got that. Next example, she's a bit younger than I am. The adjective is actually a comparative adjective in this sentence, younger. A bit acts as a mitigator, of course. And finally, my dog is much fatter than my cat. Again, it's a comparative adjective, fatter. And what about much? What do you think? Intensifier? Mitigator? It's an intensifier. It's much fatter than my cat. Good job, guys. Let's move on. Please repeat after me. It's a very interesting game. One more time. It's a very interesting game. Good. Second example. She cooks fairly good pasta. She cooks fairly good pasta. Third example, guys. He's quite brilliant at speaking English. One more time. He's quite brilliant at speaking English. Moving on. She's a bit younger than I am. She's a bit younger than I am. And finally, my dog is much fatter than my cat. My dog is much fatter than my cat. Excellent, guys. Thank you guys for watching the video. I hope this has helped. Now, using intensifiers and mitigators takes practice, a lot of practice, but I'm sure you can do it and it's worth it. It will make a true difference to your speaking skills. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Thank you guys for watching my video and for watching this English course on adjectives. If you want to see more videos on adjectives and other things, please show us your support. Click like, subscribe to the channel, put your comments below and share the video with your friends. Thank you and see you! Hello everyone! Welcome to this English course on adverbs. And in this video, we're going to talk about adverbs. Now, the simplest definition of an adverb is that it's a word that describes or modifies a verb. Now, actually, adverbs can modify other parts of the sentence, like other adverbs, but in this video, we will focus on verbs and 4 kinds of adverbs. Adverbs of time, adverbs of place, of manner, and adverbs of degree. Usually, they will answer the following questions about the verbs: when, where, how, and to what extent. Let's look at these sentences. The boy ran, and then we have the boy ran excitedly. Now, this example shows the power of adverbs. In the second sentence, you find out how the boy ran. In the first sentence, you don't have any information on how the boy ran. So in the second sentence, we find out that the boy was very excited. So it's very important to understand adverbs and understand how to use them, because they will make you speak English a lot better. So let's get started. First, let's talk about the position of an adverb. So where do we put the adverb in the sentence? Now, that is a bit tricky because the adverb in an English sentence can be in different parts of the sentence. Let's look at a few examples. She climbed the mountain slowly. Slowly, she climbed the mountain. She slowly climbed the mountain. Can you guess which word is the adverb? The word slowly is the adverb. It describes how she climbed the mountain. And as you can see, the adverb is in 3 different parts of the sentence, but the meaning is exactly the same. So let's practice pronunciation. Repeat after me, please. She climbed the mountain slowly. Slowly, she climbed the mountain. She slowly climbed the mountain. Great, guys. Let's move on. Let's now talk about how to make adverbs. Now, most adverbs, not all of them, but most of them, end in ly. So it's actually very easy. You take the adjective and you add ly at the end. Let's look at a few examples. If you have the adjective nice and you add ly to it, you make the adverb nicely. So, for example, you could say, he is a nice speaker, using the adjective nice, but you could also use the adverb nicely and say, he speaks nicely. A second example, if we take the adjective quick and we add ly, we can make the adverb quickly. So we could say, he is a quick runner, but we could also say, he runs quickly. Repeat after me, please. He speaks nicely. He runs quickly. Good job, guys. Let's move on. Be careful, guys. Not all adverbs end in ly. Some adjectives don't change form when they become adverbs. They're called flat adverbs. Typical flat adverbs would be early or late and a few others. And it's very important to know these flat adverbs because a lot of my students try to add ly to some adjectives and unfortunately they make incorrect sentences. So let's take a look at an example. Okay, if I tell you the car drove fastly, do you think that makes sense? Now, it does make sense to try to add ly to the adjective fast, but unfortunately, guys, fastly does not exist in English. So the correct sentence is the car drove fast. Another example. He arrived late or lately to class. What do you think is the correct answer? Again, it makes sense to try to add ly to the adjective late, but lately is not the adverb of the adjective late. The adverb is late. So the correct sentence is he arrived late to class. Please repeat after me. The car drove fast. He arrived late to class. Great job, guys. I hope you now understand flat adverbs better. Let's move on. Let's now take a look at a few sentences to practice finding and making adverbs that modify verbs. Now, remember, adverbs tell us so much about the verb. Usually, they tell us when or where or how or to what degree. So the first example we have is, he easily lifted the box. Can you spot the adverb in this sentence? Of course, the adverb is easily, ending in ly, okay? And it tells us how he lifted the box. It's an adverb of manner. Now the second sentence, and this is a bit more difficult. I will download the file tomorrow. Now, where is the adverb? Because there is no word ending in ly, so it's a bit more complicated. Well, the adverb is tomorrow, and it tells you when. It's an adverb of time, and these are sometimes a bit more difficult. Make sure you watch my next video. I will talk about them. Our third example now. I put it there. Again, no word ending in ly. The adverb is the word there, and it tells us where. It's an adverb of place. We will talk about them in our next videos as well. And our last example, you didn't study enough for the test. The adverb is the word enough, and it's an adverb of degree. Okay, it tells us to what degree. Again, it's not a word ending in ly, and we will talk about adverbs of degree in our next videos. Please repeat after me. He easily lifted the box. I will download the file tomorrow. I put it there. You didn't study enough for the test. Great, guys. Remember, guys, it's very important to understand adverbs and to know how to make them. They will make you speak English so much better. And this video was only a quick introduction to adverbs in English. In our next videos, we will focus on each kind of adverb, so make sure you watch the rest of the course. Thank you for watching my video, and see you next time. Thank you guys for watching my video. I hope you liked it and found it useful. If you have, please show me your support. Click like, subscribe to the channel, put your comments below if you have any, and share the video with your friends. See you! Hello everyone! Welcome to this English course on adverbs. And in this video, I'm going to focus on adverbs of time. Now, adverbs of time tell us when an action happens and also how long and how often. Now, these adverbs are extremely common in English, so you really need to know about them. So let's start learning together. Let's now take a look at a few example sentences telling us when something happened. She ate ice cream yesterday. The adverb in this sentence is, have you noticed? Yesterday, of course, and it's an adverb of time. When did you eat ice cream? Yesterday. I see you now. Now, where is the adverb in this sentence? Of course, the adverb is now. Again, it's an adverb of time. When do I see you? Now. I tell him daily. The adverb is daily. Again, adverb of time. We met last year. Can you see the adverb? Of course, the adverb in this case is last year. Again, notion of time. When did we meet? Last year. And finally, he will call you later. The adverb in this sentence is also an adverb of time. It is later. So these are all adverbs of time. And as you can see in those examples, usually adverbs of time are at the end of the sentence. Repeat after me, please. She ate ice cream yesterday. I see you now. I tell him daily. We met last year. He will call you later. Good, guys. Let's move on. Let's now move on to example sentences showing us how long something happened. These adverbs are also usually placed at the end of the sentence. But let's have a look. She stayed home all day. Which part of this sentence is an adverb? Can you see it? Of course, all day. And it tells us how long she stayed home. I studied in Canada for a year. Now in this sentence, for a year tells us how long I studied in Canada. He has taught English since 1990. How long has he taught English? Since 1990. I studied English for 4 hours. Which part is the adverb? For 4 hours. How long did I study English? For 4 hours. And finally, we have lived in New Zealand since 2005. The adverb is, of course, since 2005. As you can see, adverbs are not necessarily just one word, okay? Since 2005, 2 words. For 4 hours, 3 words. Okay, so they're not just one word. Sometimes they're more than one. Repeat after me. She stayed home all day. I studied in Canada for a year. He has taught English since 1990. I studied English for 4 hours. We have lived in New Zealand since 2005. Good, guys. Let's move on. Adverbs telling us how often express the frequency of an action. They're usually placed before the main verb, but after the auxiliary verb, such as be, may, have, or must. The only exception is if the main verb is the verb to be, in which case the adverb goes after the main verb. Let's have a look at a few example sentences. I often eat pizza. Can you spot the adverb? It's often, and as you can see, it is placed before the main verb, which is eat. So I often eat. The second example, he has never drunk cola. In this case, we have an auxiliary verb, the auxiliary verb have, and the main verb is drunk. So the adverb is placed between the auxiliary verb and the main verb. He has never drunk. You must always brush your teeth. Same rule applies. We have an auxiliary verb, must, okay, and we have the main verb, brush. So the adverb goes after the auxiliary verb, but before the main verb. You must always brush. I am seldom late. So the main verb is the verb to be. Be careful. So in this case, the adverb goes after the main verb. I am seldom late. And finally, he rarely lies. The main verb is lies, so the adverb goes before the main verb. He rarely lies. Okay? Repeat after me. I often eat pizza. He has never drunk cola. You must always brush your teeth. I am seldom late. He rarely lies. Great job, guys. Let's move on. Some adverbs expressing how often express the exact number of times that an action happened. They're called definite adverbs of frequency. And in this case, they're usually placed at the end of the sentence. Let's have a look at a few examples. I visit my dentist yearly. The adverb is yearly, okay, once a year, and it expresses the exact number of times that I visit my dentist. It's a definite adverb of frequency, so it's placed at the end of the sentence. Other example, he goes to the gym once a week. Again, we have a definite adverb of frequency, which is once a week. I work 5 days a week. Same thing, we have a definite adverb of frequency, which is 5 days a week, so it's placed at the end of the sentence. And finally, I saw the movie 5 times. Again, 5 times expresses the exact number of times that I saw the movie. Repeat after me. I visit my dentist yearly. He goes to the gym once a week. I work 5 days a week. I saw the movie 5 times. Good. Moving on. Now, if you want to use more than one adverb of time in a sentence, you should put them in the following order. First, how long? Second, how often? And finally, when? Let's take a look at a very good example sentence. He taught at the school for 10 days every month last year. Now, as you can see, first we're told how long for 10 days. Then we're told how often, every month, and finally we're told when exactly, last year. This is a very good sentence using the different kinds of adverbs of time in the right order. So I hope you can do the same. Repeat after me. He taught at the school for 10 days every month last year. Good job, guys. Let's now practice together. Okay, guys, let's do a bit of extra practice. I have 4 example sentences for you to spot adverbs of time. So let's get started. He has been to Canada 3 times. Can you spot the adverb? Of course, the adverb is the adverb of frequency 3 times. Okay? How often has he been to Canada? 3 times. The second example is, generally, I don't like to eat spicy food. The adverb is generally, and remember I told you some adverbs of frequency work well at the beginning of a sentence if you want to emphasize the frequency. So generally is one of them. Another example would be sometimes. Next example, he will clean his room regularly from now on. Now be careful, in this case we have 2 adverbs. The first one, regularly. The second one, from now on. Keeping the order, regularly is how often, followed by when, from now on. And finally, I've been going to church for 4 days every month since 1996. 3 adverbs in this case. How long? For 4 days. How often? Every month. When? Since 1996. Please repeat after me. He's been to Canada 3 times. Generally, I don't like to eat spicy food. He will clean his room regularly from now on. I've been going to church for 4 days every month since 1996. Great job! Moving on. Okay guys, you now know a lot more about adverbs of time. Remember, these adverbs are extremely common in English, so it's very important for you to learn about them. They will improve your English skills very quickly, okay? Now, there are obviously other types of adverbs, adverbs of place, of manner, and of degree, and I will focus on these in my next videos, so check them out. Thank you for watching my video, and see you next time. Thank you very much guys for watching my video. I hope you liked it. And if you did, please show me your support. Click like, subscribe to the channel, put your comments below if you have some, and share it with all your friends. See you! Hello everyone, welcome to this English course on adverbs. In this video, we're going to talk about adverbs of place. Adverbs of place tell us where an action happens. They could also give us information on direction, distance, or movement. Let's take a look at a quick example. Let's go and play outdoors. Now, in this sentence, the adverb of place is outdoors. It answers the question where. Where? Outdoors. Okay? Now let's learn a bit more about adverbs of place together. Let's get started. First, let's talk a bit about here and there. and there are two adverbs of place that relate specifically to the speaker. Here meaning close to the speaker, close to me. There meaning farther away. Okay, let's take a look at a few examples. I put my keys there. So the adverb there indicating the location of the keys, and they're a bit farther away from me, okay? Second example, please come here. Here being the adverb, meaning to me. So these adverbs are placed at the end of the sentence, but you can also put them at the beginning if you want to emphasize the location. For example, here are your keys. Here, close to me. There is your umbrella. Over there, farther away. So in these two cases, I want to emphasize the location, so I place the adverb at the beginning of the sentence. Okay, guys? Please repeat after me. I put my keys there. Please come here. Here are your keys. There is your umbrella. Good job, guys. Let's move on. Let's now take a look at adverbs of movement and directions. Some adverbs end in W-A-R-D or W-A-R-D-S, it's the same thing, and they express movement in a particular direction. For example, homeward or homewards, backward or backwards, forward or forwards, onward or onwards. So they express a movement and they specify a particular direction. Let's take a look at a few example sentences. We drove eastwards or eastward. It would be the exact same thing. The children looked upwards at the stars. You need to move forward one step. So each time you have a movement specifying the direction of this movement. Okay? Repeat after me, please. We drove eastwards. The children looked upwards at the stars. You need to move forward one step. Good, guys. Let's move on. Some adverbs express both movement and location at the same time. For example, when I say the child went indoors, there's a movement, the child goes into the house, but it's also a location. He's inside, indoors. Another example would be, he's going abroad. It's a movement, but it's also a location, abroad, in another country. Finally, I could say, the rock rolled downhill. There's the movement going down, but it's also a location. Please repeat after me. The child went indoors. He is going abroad. The rock rolled downhill. Good job, guys. Moving on. Everywhere, somewhere, anywhere, or nowhere are adverbs of place as well. But they are special because they describe a location or direction that is indefinite or unspecific. For example, I looked everywhere for my car keys. I'd like to go somewhere for my vacation. We're going nowhere. Is there anywhere to get a coffee? Repeat after me. I looked everywhere for my car keys. I'd like to go somewhere for my vacation. We're going nowhere. Is there anywhere to get a coffee? Great, guys. Let's move on. Just so you know, some adverbs can also be prepositions. Now, the difference is that an adverb stands alone. A preposition is always followed by a noun. So, for example, outside. Outside can be an adverb. For example, we were waiting outside. It's an adverb, it stands alone. But it can also be a preposition. For example, we were waiting outside his office. Goes with a noun. Another example, I kicked the ball around. Around is an adverb in this case, it stands alone. But it can also be a preposition. I kicked the ball around the field. It goes with a noun. Okay? So an adverb stands alone, a preposition is followed by a noun. Please repeat after me. We were waiting outside. We were waiting outside his office. I kicked the ball around. I kicked the ball around the field. Very good, guys. Let's now move on to practice, shall we? Okay, guys, let's do a bit of extra practice. I have a few example sentences for you to spot adverbs of place. First example, John looked around, but he couldn't find his wife. Now remember, adverbs of place answer the question, where? Can you spot the adverb here? Of course, it's the word around. Where did John look? He looked around. Second example, I searched everywhere I could think of. Now, where did I search? Everywhere. Everywhere is the adverb. Let's go back. Now, what's the adverb in this sentence? It's back, of course. Where? Back. Next example, come in. Where? In. Okay, the adverb is in. Okay, so adverbs of place answer the question, where? Please repeat the sentences after me. John looked around, but he couldn't find his wife. I searched everywhere I could think of. Let's go back. Come in. Good job, guys. Okay guys, you now know a lot more about adverbs of place. Now I know it's hard to learn about all these adverbs, but don't worry, you'll get there. You just need a bit of practice, okay? Now I'm going to carry on talking about adverbs in my next videos, so make sure to watch them. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Thank you so much guys for watching our video. I hope you liked it, and if you did, please show us your support. Click like, subscribe to the channel, put your comments below, always nice, and share the video with your friends. See you! Hello everyone and welcome to this English course on adverbs. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about adverbs of degree. Adverbs of degree tell us about the intensity of something, the power of something. Now, in English, they're usually placed before the adjective or adverb or verb that they modify. But obviously, as always, there are exceptions. There are very common adverbs of degree that I'm sure you use all the time. To, enough, very, extremely. But there are so many others. Okay, so let's dive into it and learn about adverbs of degree. Let's have a look at a few examples of adverbs of degree, especially how they are used with adjectives, adverbs, and verbs. Now, adverbs of degree are usually placed before the adjectives and adverbs that they modify, and before the main verb of the sentence. For example, in the sentence, the water was extremely cold, you have the adjective cold and the adverb extremely that modifies the adjective cold. And as you can see, the adverb is placed before the adjective that it modifies. Second example, he just left. In this case, the adverb just comes before the verb left, which is the main verb of the sentence. She is running very fast. Now, in this case, we have two adverbs, the adverb fast and the adverb very that modifies the adverb fast. And as you can see, our adverb very is placed before the adverb that it modifies. And finally, they are completely exhausted from the trip. The adverb completely modifies the adjective exhausted and is therefore placed before it. I hope you understand, guys. Let's move on. Please repeat after me. The water was extremely cold. He just left. She is running very fast. They are completely exhausted from the trip. Good job, guys. Let's move on. Some very common adverbs of degree in English are enough, very, and to. Let's look at a few examples. Is your coffee hot enough? So in this case, our adverb enough modifies the adjective hot. He didn't work hard enough. In that case, our adverb enough modifies another adverb, the adverb hard. And as you can see, the adverb enough is usually placed after the adjective or adverb that it modifies. Another example is very. The girl was very beautiful. So the adverb very modifies our adjective beautiful. He worked very quickly. So in this case, our adverb very modifies the adverb quickly. And as you can see, very is usually placed before the word that it modifies. And finally, our third example is to. This coffee is too hot. It modifies the adjective hot. He works too hard. In that case, to modifies the adverb hard. And as you can see, to is usually placed before the word that it modifies. Okay, hope you got it. Let's move on. Please repeat after me. Is your coffee hot enough? He didn't work hard enough. The girl was very beautiful. He worked very quickly. This coffee is too hot. He works too hard. Okay, guys, let's move on. Okay, guys, let's do a little bit of extra practice with a few example sentences. He speaks very quickly. Can you spot the adverb of degree? It's very, and it modifies the other adverb of the sentence, quickly. He speaks too quickly. Now, another very common adverb of degree, too. Be very careful. There's a difference between very and too. Very is a fact. Too means there's a problem. Okay, he speaks so quickly that you cannot understand. He speaks too quickly. Another example, my teacher is terribly angry. Where is the adverb of degree? It's the adverb terribly that modifies the adjective angry. They were almost finished. Can you spot the adverb? It's almost, and it modifies the verb finished. Okay, so we're not finished yet, we're almost finished. And finally, this box isn't big enough. The adverb of degree in this case is the adverb enough, and it modifies our adjective big. And remember, enough usually goes after the word that it modifies. Okay, I hope you get it, guys. Please repeat after me. He speaks very quickly. He speaks too quickly. My teacher is terribly angry. They were almost finished. This box isn't big enough. Good job, guys. Okay, guys, you now know a lot more about adverbs of degree, and I'm sure this video will help you improve your English. But keep practicing. And make sure you watch the other videos on adverbs. They're very useful as well. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Thank you guys for watching my video. If you like it, please show me your support. Click like, subscribe to our channel, put your comments below and share it with all your friends. See you! Hello everyone, welcome to this English course on adverbs. In today's video, I'm going to talk to you about adverbs of manner. Adverbs of manner tell you how something happens, and they're usually placed after the main verb or after its object. Let's take a look at a few sentences. He swims well. The adverb well tells you how he swims and is placed after the main verb swims. He plays the piano beautifully. The adverb beautifully tells you how he plays the piano and is placed after the piano, which is the object of the verb to play. Hope you get it. Let's get into more detail now. Adverbs of manner are usually placed after the main verb or after the object. For example, he left the room quickly. The adverb quickly is placed after the object, the room. Now, just so you know, some adverbs, not all of them, but some adverbs can also be placed before the verb. So in this case, you can also say, He quickly left the room. Repeat after me. He left the room quickly. He quickly left the room. Good, guys. Let's move on. What's very important for you to know is that an adverb of manner cannot come between a verb and its direct object. Okay, so it must be placed either before the main verb or after at the end of the clause. So let's take a look at a few examples. He ate quickly his dinner. Now, this sentence is incorrect. Okay, ate is the verb, his dinner, it's the direct object of the verb. So the adverb quickly cannot be placed between those two. Okay, so you should say, he ate his dinner quickly. The adverb is at the end, and that's correct. Or, he quickly ate his dinner. That's also correct. The adverb is placed before the main verb. Another example. He gave me gently a hug. Now this is incorrect. You cannot separate the verb give from its direct object, a hug. So two correct sentences would be, first, he gave me a hug gently with the adverb at the end of the sentence, or he gently gave me a hug. The adverb comes before the verb. Hope you get it. Please repeat the sentence after me. He ate his dinner quickly. He quickly ate his dinner. He gave me a hug gently. He gently gave me a hug. Good, guys. Let's move on. Time now to practice. Here are a few example sentences for you to spot the adverbs of manner. He swam well. As you can see, we use the adverb well. It tells you how he swam, and it's placed after the main verb swam. The rain fell hard. Again, our adverb hard tells you how the rain fell and is placed after the verb. The children were playing happily. The adverb is, can you find it? Happily, of course. She angrily slammed the door. Can you see the adverb? It's angrily. How did she slam the door? Angrily. And finally, slowly she picked up the flower. Can you spot the adverb of manner? It's slowly. And it's at the beginning of the sentence because we want to emphasize the manner. And this is also something very common when you read books. Please repeat after me. He swam well. The rain fell hard. The children were playing happily. She angrily slammed the door. Slowly, she picked up the flower. Great job! Okay guys, that's it for this video. Please make sure you watch the other videos on adverbs and keep practicing. Adverbs are extremely common in English and they will make you speak a lot better. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Thank you so much guys for watching my video. If you like it, please show me your support. Click like, subscribe to the channel, put your comments below if you have some, and share it with all your friends. See you!